Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating lesson from Academy that connects two things you honestly might not normally put together: everyday mathematics and biblical wisdom. Every single day, we're faced with choices that have a cost. So we're going to look at how this curriculum teaches us to make calculated decisions that not only make sense for our wallets, but also align with a spiritually grounded life. Let's get right into it.
So, picture this. You're hiring a tutor, maybe renting some equipment, or just paying for a service. Would you rather pay a straight $10 per hour or $5 per hour plus a $20 starting fee? Take a second. What's your gut reaction? Honestly, most of us jump right to a quick answer. We see that $5 and think, oh, absolutely, that's cheaper. But the truth is, the right answer entirely depends on how much time you actually need. And that simple realization, that the right choice changes depending on the context, well, that's the whole foundation of what we're unpacking today.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the cost of decisions, move into proportional versus non-proportional math, tackle the delivery service dilemma, do some real-world math practice, and wrap it all up with education combined with morality.
Okay, Section 1, the cost of decisions, counting the cost in math and life.
Math at its core is really about comparing situations fairly, right? Making objective choices. Well, the source material actually connects this directly to a principle from Philippians 2:4. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. The curriculum highlights that just as math asks us to step back and look at situations fairly, God calls us to be considerate in our choices. It's about training your mind to see how the whole equation impacts literally everyone involved.
And it builds on that by pointing to Luke 14:28, which famously tells us to count the cost. Whether you're, say, building a budget, planning a massive road trip, or even just navigating a tricky friendship, you've got to weigh your decisions. You have to count the cost before you act. Jumping in blind, whether you're doing algebra or just living your life, usually leads to a total mess.
Moving right along to Section 2, proportional versus non-proportional, the math behind the money.
Okay, let's dive into this. To count the cost accurately, we really need to understand the two main mathematical structures that govern almost every financial choice we make. A proportional relationship is wonderfully simple. It's just a flat rate based purely on quantity. Think $5 per mile. You go 0 miles, you pay $0. You go 1 mile, you pay 5. It scales up perfectly evenly. But then we have the non-proportional relationship. This one throws a bit of a curveball, a base fee plus a variable rate. So imagine paying a $20 flat fee just for someone to show up, plus $3 for every mile driven. That initial base fee completely changes the whole shape of the equation.
Section 3, the delivery service dilemma. Plan A versus Plan B.
We're going to put these two mathematical concepts right into a real-world ring, and the plot twist here is hiding in the numbers. Imagine we have two delivery services. Plan A is proportional, a flat $5 per mile. Plan B is non-proportional. It has a $20 starting fee, but a cheaper $3 per mile rate. If your delivery is just 5 miles away, Plan A is a breeze. 5 times 5 is 25 bucks. Plan B? Well, 5 times 3 is 15, but then you got to tack on that hefty $20 flat fee, bringing your total to 35. So Plan A wins easily. But look what happens when we push it to 10 miles. Plan A is 10 times 5, which is exactly $50. Plan B is 10 times 3, which is 30, plus that $20 base fee, which suddenly ties the two plans at exactly $50.
So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. Plan A is cheaper for short distances, but Plan B is better for long ones. If that delivery goes out to 15 or 20 miles, that non-proportional Plan B, the one with a scary upfront fee, actually turns into the smarter, much cheaper choice. The math literally demands that we look beyond our first impression.
Section 4, real-world math practice. Time to test your knowledge.
I'm going to throw some rapid-fire scenarios at you to see if you can spot the hidden mechanics here. First up, a phone plan charges $40 a month plus 10 cents per text message. Ask yourself, is this proportional, meaning it starts at 0 and scales perfectly evenly? Or is it non-proportional, meaning there's a hidden starting weight? Think about what happens to your bill before you even send a single text.
If you guess non-proportional, you hit the nail right on the head. It's non-proportional because it includes a flat starting fee. That $40 charge hits your account before you even type the word hello. It doesn't start at 0.
and that baseline fee instantly kicks it into a completely different mathematical category.
Let's try another one to see how this builds. You're shopping online, right? You want to buy exactly 3 shirts. Which deal is better? Deal 1, a strictly proportional $6 per shirt. Or Deal 2, a non-proportional $4 per shirt, but with a $10 flat shipping fee. Now, the second option clearly has a lower variable rate, kind of like our delivery truck example earlier. But does that lower rate actually make up for the shipping fee when you're only grabbing 3 items?
The answer is $18. The proportional price totally wins this round. Let's do the math real quick. 3 shirts at $6 each is $18 total. Simple. If you chose the other plan, 3 shirts at $4 each is $12, but when you add that $10 shipping, you're shelling out $22. Because the quantity is small, the proportional deal beats the non-proportional deal every time.
Okay, one more tricky one for you. You want to get fit, and a gym offers 2 payment plans. Plan 1 is a clean $25 per session. Plan 2 requires a $100 upfront membership fee, but then the sessions drop to just $10 each. If you know for a fact you're only going to go to exactly 5 sessions, which path is cheaper?
And the proportional plan takes the prize again. 5 sessions at $25 is $125 total. Meanwhile, the non-proportional plan features that massive $100 upfront fee plus $50 for the sessions, bringing the whole shebang to $150. Now, if you were going to 20 or 30 sessions, that membership fee would easily pay for itself, no question. But at just 5 sessions, you really have to run the numbers to protect your wallet. This is exactly how math helps us clearly justify our real-world solutions.
Finally, Section 5, Education Combined with Morality, the true purpose of learning.
So we've crunched the numbers, but why does a curriculum like HeroesMart actually focus on weaving these math concepts together with biblical principles? Well, their core philosophy is pretty straightforward. Being thoughtful in math trains us to be thoughtful in life. Think about what we just did with those gym memberships and the delivery trucks. At first glance, a $3 per mile rate looks way better than a $5 per mile rate, right? Some things seem equal or even vastly superior right off the bat. But closer inspection shows much deeper differences. If we don't look out for those hidden flat fees, the non-proportional realities, we get tricked. And you know, life is exactly the same way. We encounter decisions, temptations, and paths that look amazing on the surface, but require real, practiced wisdom to navigate properly.
The source material lays out a very specific worldview here. First up, they argue that education without morality just ends up hurting people. The curriculum asks a pretty profound question. What is the point of being highly educated if you just use that intellect to make choices that hurt yourself and others? True education, according to this lesson, must be paired with a moral compass so we can factor in everyone's interests. And finally, the source asserts that a spiritual mind brings true peace.
To back that up, the curriculum points straight to Romans 8:6-7, noting that it promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. The lesson teaches us that when you intertwine this kind of godly wisdom with your everyday education, whether you're learning algebra, running a business, or just managing a household budget, you achieve a level of clarity and peace that raw data alone simply cannot provide.
So, I want to leave you with this. We've explored how a hidden flat fee can completely change a whole math equation, and how looking past the surface actually saves you money. We've also seen how this curriculum applies that exact same rigorous checking to our moral choices. So now that you know how to count the cost, how will you use your own education and critical thinking to make wise, thoughtful choices today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep analyzing and keep counting the cost.